gonna be just a quick patch note video overview thing. I'm just talking about 13.8 and all the things are changing. It's just like at the end of the day, like I wanted to kind of get this out because, well, everybody hates Hacker, everybody hates Infinite Team, everybody hates Ox, etc. So we'll see kind of what they do here. I'm excited for this though. The biggest thing here is everyone knows the Mecha Malphite chest is going to be dropping this patch. 2% chance per egg, 390 RP, 61st egg slash box open guarantees it. So if you have $250, you can guarantee yourself a Mecha Malphite. It's just kind of is what it is. There's some new Mecha Little Legends. They look cute. As always, I'm not a huge like spending person, so unless there's a Kiki, I'm not really gonna pay attention too much of it. I wish there was a Kiki. All right. So this is just gonna be their hacker changes. The Omnivamp is getting completely neutered, which I think probably is smart. I don't understand why they had it so that a single unit on there could full heal with two abilities. Um, that was the biggest thing. Like even with LeBlanc just wouldn't die because you add admin in and you add in hacker healing, and it's just like insane AP, insane healing, never die. Didn't feel very good. Didn't feel very good at all. So now we're gonna have hackers basically doing a third of the healing with the Omnivamp base, as well as then the Rider Omnivamp at 3 is 0. So you can't just throw on a Warwick and have it heal extra, etc. And now target their closest enemy rather than preferring the back row. I think this will also help because you might be able to position better for this, but we'll kind of see as we go how it goes. Heart is getting a single buff per cast at 6, so maybe Heart 6 is a little bit more viable now. I still think Heart as a comp needs like a couple, I guess 2 spats, I think, or at least a Heart to feel like easy to go 6. And that's just kind of where I'm at with it. It just kind of feels a little bit funky because so many of the backliners need that time to scale, and like you don't have the time to then get levels and also have a decent front line with levels. It's just kind of awkward. Cleansing safeguard buff will help that a little bit. We'll get into that here later. Infinite team damage and HP alternate versions are going to be nerfed a little bit. I think this is probably good. Right now, Infinite Team 5 and 7 feel almost impossible to beat sometimes, just because the person gets an extra 2 full units. And when it's a full Garen, a full Alt Ezreal, full anything, really any 5 cost they can duplicate, right? It just feels really difficult to beat anyone. And so I think this will help a little bit in making them feel a little bit more killable. Aatrox, yeah, I mean, you name it. There's so many combos that feel really good with it. The biggest thing I think this set has like bothered me the most outside of Hacker's annoying. Oxforce. I said it in set 8 before mid set. I really hoped they'd take Oxforce out because it just felt unfun, uncounterable. As it ruined ace units, it ruined all these different setups, right? So now instead of becoming invincible, they instead shield themselves once they drop below 1 HP or drop below 1 HP or died realistically. Instead of shielding themselves, they gain 50% of their health back for a second and a half. So like I think this will make it so that random positioning luck won't be as prevalent because that's really all it was in certain situations, is just random positioning luck. But we'll kind of see now how it feels. I think this will make it so that, as Animal said, an MF ult can't be fully like cock blocked by a single Oxforce unit. Now, if that unit is an Annie 3 with full items, it should still cock block in a single MF ult, but it won't do it at a 1 cost, right? A 1-star Viego just can't just jump in the back and just waste your entire ult, right? So that should be nice. They also nerfed the MR and armor, which I think will help, but I don't know. I don't know if it's really going to be like that big of a difference, right? I don't think the armor, etc., was really that strong to begin with because you can go defender or Aegis and get better stats. But Underground Tome of Traits now no longer drops from Heist 4 or higher. I think this will be good. Just in general, that Tome of Traits kind of felt a little bit suspect. It wasn't really that strong of a thing, which is kind of a little hard. And then they're going to be doing tier 1 changes. Blitzcrank's getting a nerf. Gangplank, armor, and MR is getting buffed, so I think that will just make Duelists feel a little bit better. And then he's also getting a little damage buff, so maybe you can play Duelists with GP carry again. I think you kind of need his carry augment to do that, which is kind of rough, but we'll see if this makes enough of a difference. I'm not necessarily sure it will. Minor buffs, but I don't use GP or Duelist much anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at. Lucian is getting a nerf to his damage, 5, 10, and 15 respectively, meaning that he shouldn't be able to one-shot people as consistently, I'm hoping. But I don't know if there's enough of a change to him to make him not busted. So we'll kind of have to keep an eye on that. PBE gameplay will kind of probably show that more than anything. So take an eye out, not take an eye out, keep an eye out for people in the Twitch categories, etc., playing PBE to look for that. We'll see pretty quickly, if people are still able to just decimate a lobby with Lucian reroll. Lux is getting some pretty big buffs as well. And so we'll kind of see how this goes. I think Lux felt pretty bad right now as a 1 cost. Nasus is getting a buff in every way, shape, and form. So Nasus carry might be a little bit more viable now. Not really sure. Jinx is getting... Whoa. A very, very good mana buff. This is going to be interesting. I think the Jinx carry augment now will be pretty viable again. Because there was a minute there where Anima Jinx carry with Pranksters was a good viable option in a way to stop hackers. And sorry, toe itched. And I think at this point, with her being so much lower mana per cast, I'm thinking that there might be an angle to go her again if you want to play Silas reroll with it. Like if you get a Silas augment or something, or a Jinx augment, or something of that sort, right? One of those types of units. I think that might be playable. We'll kind of see. I liked Jinx a lot as a carry, mostly because with Hacker being positive or very, very strong, Prankster was a good way out of that. So we'll kind of see. Nar's getting a nerf, which I think makes sense. He's really strong right now. I also don't know if it will be enough of a nerf to not make him OP AF. With Hackers getting the changes, he won't have as much Omnivamp, which will make him a little bit more killable, I would argue. But at 3, he still felt really strong just straight up because of the tank value you get from Gadgettine right now. If you get a Gadgettine spat, I think it's pretty good. They bug fixed his IE bug as well. So, okay, so you won't have like insane one-hit kills then. So we'll kind of see. I still think Gnar carry will be viable if you get a Gadgettine emblem or 2. But keep an eye on this one as well. I think this will be more of a coming back down to earth situation rather than like he is unplayable kind of deal. So we'll kind of see. Kaisa getting a nerf, which I think makes sense. She's really strong when you're giving her the quick draw value that they've really wanted with the last patch. And I think it was probably a little bit too much, as we can see by every quick draw unit kind of like overperforming, I would argue. So we'll kind of see how this ends up going. I think at a high roll position, Kaisa will still be playable, especially if you get like a Kaisa too early. You'll still very much be able to carry a build with the Shiv, etc. Rammus is going to get a slightly longer stun. I think this makes Rammus a little bit more viable, especially with AD becoming, I think, a little bit more prevalent now with the Kaisa and the Lucian nerfs, etc. I think this could be a thing. Shen's getting a nerf to the damage reduction as well as the duration at 3, but they're making his duration the same as 2-star. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think it will still be good for the damage reduction. Belveth is getting another buff. I think this is probably needed. She still kind of feels bad. We'll see. I think the bigger problem is that she just doesn't fit into any of the flex comps right now. But with some of the changes to AD units, and it's to the AP units that like blew up people really early, I could see that being more playable now, just because we won't have as fast of lobby strengths, where Lucians aren't going to just blow up your team within a half second, hopefully, but we'll kind of see. Something important to note, as I think someone in chat said earlier, they did not change the LeBlanc stats at all. So LeBlanc still very well could be good with aim assist, but we'll kind of see what happens. I think the admin's going to be much more important now, and I think getting aim assist early to help keep you alive. But we'll kind of see. They're changing some of the setups though. With the hero augs, Lucian's enchanted ammunition AP per auto is going down by 1. I actually found this to be a better Kaisa carry augment than I did a Lucian carry augment. So we'll kind of see. That does make Kaisa a lot less viable with the attack speed from it, or the extra AP from the attack speed. Though I guess it still probably was good with Lucian as well. I didn't play it very often. I generally preferred the angle to go frontline when I got this, when I went Lucian reroll personally. Pantheon's getting a lower AP. Oh god, both Pantheon augments are getting nerfed. Reign of Anger is getting a buff. I think that's good. Cyclone AP on Wukong's getting a buff, which I think makes sense. Cyclone kind of just feels eh. Ezreal correctly gives you stacks when Parallel is active with Rising Spell Force. That's a nice bug fix. Lee Sin Cleansing Safeguard going up to 15%. I think this might make Lee Sin Cleansing a little bit more usable now. I just felt in the past it wasn't very good. It was either too good or too bad, right? Like, I think it was too strong prior to the nerf to 10, but at 10 it feels really bad. So I think 15 might be a little bit better of a middle ground. I think it still relies very heavily on like having another, like either a Lulu carry or a Sona carry with like good items, because generally without Augment, Lulu, and Sona kind of feel a little bit suspect. So we'll kind of see. Mirror Image on LeBlanc getting 99% of the HP now. It's basically giving you a free duplicate unit. So I could see this being good if you have like a 3-star frontliner or something. You know, like a 3-star frontline that you want to duplicate. You have a second, it's just Woodland Charm now. Yeah, it's Woodland Charm, but you can select the unit, right? So, Fiddle 2, double Fiddle 2, etc. We'll see kind of how it goes. I don't think that'll be bad. I think it's going to come down to getting that later. Like if you got like a 4-2, I think that'd be better, because then you can like guarantee that you know what you're going to use it on. I think at 3-2 it would feel kind of bad. So we'll kind of see. I feel like tomorrow's patch is just spam Duelists and Jax. I don't know about that. We'll kind of see. I'm not positive on how they're going to do that. But we'll kind of see. I think Jax probably needs the value at times. We'll kind of see. Armored Dillo, catch that one, YouTube, is getting in a buff. Shen Recursion Matrix is going down to 7%, which I think makes sense. Spread Shot, nearby enemy damage, is getting a nerf, surprisingly, but I think that kind of makes sense. Vex, now that Vex isn't like the meta carry, I think the change to Joy Siphon is probably warranted. Leona buff to her Perfected Solar Flare mana and AP. Echo is getting buffed to his Carry Og, and Urgot's getting a faster Rising Tide. Scoped is getting a buff. I'm just looking at some of these small changes here. Just a bunch of bug fixes at the end, as always. Pretty sure that Urgot was buffed twice in a row. I think it was 20% at one point, and now it's up to 40, so I could see it being pretty good. We'll kind of see. I think if I had to make a prediction of 20, 30, 30, 40, 50, thank you. I think that's correct, Linza. I think if I had to make a prediction, Jinx Carry will make a comeback. I think Jinx Carry is gonna surprisingly be pretty strong. Was it changed to 65 mana per versus 80? That's one less auto, I believe. That could be very, very good, but we'll kind of see. It's Susan time, guys. Bonk, bonk. And on that note, catch you guys later. Peace.